What if Snape raised Harry? What if, on that night in Godric's Hollow, things had gone differently? What if Dumbledore, instead of leaving Harry with the Dursleys, had placed him in the care of Severus Snape, the man who loved Lily Potter more than his own soul? Would Harry have grown up to be the same boy we know, or someone entirely different? If you enjoy exploring questions like this, from the world of Harry Potter to The Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, then this is the channel for you. There should be a subscribe button somewhere on your screen. If that's your thing, tap it now, and let's dive deeper into the world of magic, myth, and meaning. Let's be clear, Snape raising Harry would change everything. Because the Dursleys didn't just make Harry humble, they made him hungry for love. That longing, that instinct to protect others, was forged by cruelty. Under Snape, Harry's childhood would still be hard, but in a very different way. Snape isn't abusive in the Muggle sense. He's emotionally cold, distant, harsh, but rational. He doesn't strike without purpose. If Harry grew up under his roof, he'd be raised not with neglect, but with discipline, and a constant, suffocating shadow of Lily's memory. Because make no mistake, Snape would never see Harry as just Harry. He'd see Lily's eyes every time the boy spoke, and James's face every time he misbehaved. That conflict alone would shape Harry more than anything else. Snape's home, most likely Spinner's End, would not be warm. It would be quiet, full of books, potion fumes, and silence. Harry would learn early that emotion was weakness, that mistakes were unacceptable, and that the world was divided between the competent and the foolish. And yet Snape would teach him magic. Real magic. He'd train him to understand the craft behind spells, not just the gestures. Harry would become methodical, analytical, perhaps even gifted at potions. But compassion, that would be harder. Without Ron or Hermione, without that bright warmth of friendship, Harry might grow into a colder, more calculating boy. One who helps people because it's logical, not because it's kind. If you're enjoying this video so far, do give it a like. It really helps me keep making these and dive even deeper into the world of Harry Potter lore. Now, how would Dumbledore fit into this version of Harry's life? In my opinion, he'd still be there, watching, testing, guiding from afar, but his relationship with Harry would be far more complicated. Dumbledore's greatest mistake was using love as a shield. He sent Harry to the Dursleys, believing suffering would keep him safe. If he'd sent him to Snape, he would have replaced suffering with bitterness. Different poison, same wound. By the time Harry reached Hogwarts, he'd be sharper, maybe even feared. A quiet, serious student, not a hero in the making, but a prodigy. Snape would ensure his house, likely Slytherin, protected him. Because in this world, Snape wouldn't hate him, he'd guard him, obsessively, and that's where things start to get dangerous. Snape's love for Lily was his greatest flaw, and raising her son would blur every moral line he has. He'd teach Harry how to survive, not how to live. He'd teach him control, but not kindness. He'd fill his head with suspicion of Dumbledore, of the Ministry, even of friendship. And without friendship, Harry's destiny would darken. He'd still be brave. He'd still face Voldemort, but he wouldn't do it for love. He'd do it for vengeance. Now let's think about how Voldemort fits into this alternate timeline. Harry, trained by Snape, would be far more dangerous. He'd know occlumency early. He'd sense the Dark Lord's presence, maybe even communicate with it. Their bond would grow stronger, not weaker. In some ways, he might even start to understand Voldemort's logic. After all, both were boys shaped by rejection. Both were orphans raised in cold rooms by people who couldn't love them properly. If Snape had raised Harry, that similarity might no longer be a coincidence. It might be destiny. And that's what makes this question so fascinating, because Snape's influence would protect Harry from the weaknesses that nearly killed him, but also strip away the compassion that saved him. Without Hermione's reasoning, Ron's loyalty, and the Weasleys' warmth, there's no balance. Snape might have built a brilliant, disciplined young wizard, but not a good man. And when the prophecy finally comes due, that version of Harry wouldn't win through love. He'd win through calculation. He'd kill Voldemort, not out of mercy, but precision, not to end the cycle, but to complete it. And I think that's the great irony of this scenario. The one person who might have saved Harry from loneliness is also the one who would have recreated it perfectly. Snape's house would be full of books, but empty of laughter. Full of lessons, but lacking in forgiveness. He'd protect Harry's body, but not his heart. And maybe, years later, that version of Harry would look into the mirror of Erist and see not his parents, not Ron, not Sirius, but Snape, alive, smiling at him the way he never did in life. Because love, no matter how twisted, always leaves a mark. So what if Snape raised Harry? The world would still be saved, but it would feel colder. The boy who lived would grow into the man who endured, and the story of love conquering death would become one of love surviving it. If you enjoyed that video, on screen now I answer, what if Voldemort had won?